Causes of peripheral neuropathy in pediatric TB, the most common is drug-induced, of which we all know INH. But there are other drugs also that can cause peripheral neuropathy, which I'll come to. The disease itself can cause neuropathy, and you could, because these children are malnourished, they could have B12 deficiencies, B6 deficiencies, and that can also cause to peripheral neuropathy. Next slide. So among the drug-induced neuropathies, commonest is INH, and we know INH causes vitamin B6 deficiency, and that's the reason. So whenever you're giving INH, you're also supplementing vitamin B6 in these patients. In children, we give 10 milligram. In adults, you give 40 milligram. Especially in children who are malnourished or who have HIV co-infection or those who are receiving high dose INH, don't forget ever to give vitamin B6. Linezolid induced neuropathy is basically mitochondrial, and usually it is seen after 4 to 6 weeks of linezolid. Now here we come to what is the dose of linezolid that you should be giving, especially when we are onto a BPALM regimen in which we are going to use high dose linezolid. So in children, remember we give 10 milligram per kg of linezolid. We don't exceed 600 milligram in children, but usually I have seen that children do not tolerate 6 milligram per kg of linezolid. Most of the times, within a month or 6 weeks, we have to come down to 300 milligram. Otherwise, they'll end up with two problems. One is anemia, or they'll end up with this neuropathy kind of a problem. Streptomycin, which we used to use earlier, can cause neuropathy, but nowadays we don't use streptomycin, so that's not something that we really need to be worried. Now when we are using these second line drugs, there are additional drugs that also cause neuropathy, and ethionamide is one of them. I have seen a patient with ethionamide induced pellagra, and she came with severe peripheral neuropathy, and she needed high dose of niacin, high dose of B6 and other vitamins. Cycloserine, remember, we always remember cycloserine as a drug that causes neuropsychiatric problems, especially suicidal tendencies or anger outbursts, but it can also cause seizures and neuropathy. So in this child, though linezolid was stopped by the physician outside, cycloserine was still continued. So whenever you have peripheral neuropathy, you have to stop all the drugs that are causing neuropathic pain. And sometimes you could get fluoroquinolones, rarely as a cause of neuropathy. So these are the drugs that are causing neuropathy, so please keep that in mind. Next slide. Now when you have disease-related neuropathy, either you could have a spinal TB, and that is causing radicular pain, and that could be causing TB radiculitis. Sometimes you could have spinal TB that could be causing compression neuropathy. The immune-mediated neuritis can be a problem, paradoxical reaction. Sometimes we don't pick that up. A lot of times TB patients get joint pains after starting anti-TB treatment, and we call that as Ponset's disease. And they have these joint pains lasting for quite a long time. Similarly, you could have an immune-mediated neuritis. And if you have HIV co-infection, again, you could have a risk of neuropathy. Next slide. How do you detect? These patients are going to come to you. These patients are going to tell you burning, tingling, numbness in the hands and feet. When you ask them to walk in your clinic, you'll feel that they are actually dragging the chappal with them. They are not, walking with the chappal or the sandal. They're dragging the chappal. So they have difficulty in holding on to the sandals or the footwear. And rarely, if you've still not picked it up, then they'll come to you as difficulty in walking or foot drop or hand weakness. And when you examine them, you will find that their vibration sense disappears. They don't get temperature. These are the first two signs to appear, the vibration and the temperature. Later on, you will get a sensory loss coming, the reflexes going away, muscle motor involvement occurring, and a high steppage gait that takes place. Next slide. So if we have to grade peripheral neuropathy objectively, you should get the child within grade 1, because at this time you can reverse these symptoms. So tingling and numbness, the moment they come with this and decrease vibration sense, stop the offending drug. or decrease the dose. Grade 2, they have mild pain now, and the reflexes have also become weak or they are gone. And they have, as I told you, they have difficulty in holding on to the chuckles. So that's the time you pick up moderate. Severe is when they have severe pain, there is severe weakness, like how this child had, an inability to walk. And grade 4 is when they are bedridden. Grade 3 and grade 4 can be sometimes irreversible. So it may reverse to a certain extent, but they will be left behind with a problem for the rest of their life. So catch them when they are grade 1. Next slide. Now, this was the classification for, if you want to just put it as a pediatric grading, which is normal. Grade 0 is only, there's no problem. Grade 1 is there is just little paresthesia, no weakness. Grade 2 is numbness and pain, there is some weakness. Grade 3 is severe sensory loss, and grade 4 is with autonomic symptoms as well. So up to grade 1 and grade 2, you can consider just decreasing the dose, giving B6. But the moment you get grade 3, you have to stop the drug. This is what the guidelines recommend. What I would suggest, if you have an alternative drug, stop the drug and change to an alternative drug. Because even after dose reduction, this pain may sometimes remain and it will be irreversible. So if you have an alternative drug, just change the drug. Next slide. Now, one is a clinical diagnosis you've already picked up. You can do a nerve conduction study. It will tell you whether it's axonal or demyelinating form. B6 levels can be done, but you don't really need to do that. You can give the B6. Sometimes serum electrolytes like hyponatremia, hypokalemia, hypomagnesemia, hypocalcemia can be the causes. So you have to check on those. And if you've not done HIV, we always screen HIV with all TB patients. But if you've not done, then you can check the HIV test. Next slide. Now, if you look at the types of drugs causing neuropathy, suppose you have a child who's on first line anti-TB drug, then isoniazid is the one that causes, and it's usually sensory. They don't have motor involvement, and it's distal, and grade 1 and 2 is what you get. You just give B6, they'll be fine, or you decrease. Now, in children, the dose of INH recommended nowadays is 10 milligram per kg per day, based on various pharmacokinetic studies from South Africa. When we did the PK/PD data in INH in our patients, what we found is that when we give 5 milligram per kg also, we were achieving a good enough level. And I think that is based on the acetylization status. So Indians don't metabolize the drug so quickly. So maybe you could just decrease the dose and see, and give vitamin B6. If it still doesn't respond, then stop and use something else. For linezolid, it's a mitochondrial toxicity. Whenever you have linezolid-induced neuropathy, always check the eye for optic neuritis. They will come to you with vision problems, but sometimes young children don't complain. And it's sensory and motor. And usually it's seen within 3 to 4 weeks. And as you saw in our patient, it had already gone to stage 4 by the time the child came to us. So linezolid-induced neuropathy is very, very common, and keep a watch, especially when you are using BPAL-M regimen. Rarely you may get ethionamide. Ethionamide predominantly causes pellagra rather than neuritis, and cycloserine predominantly causes suicidal and psychiatric tendencies rather than neuropathy. But in a patient who's on a regimen, you may have to modify the regimen. And whenever you use cycloserine, also use pyridoxine. So keep that in mind. Next slide. So dose of pyridoxine, as I said, in children we use 10 milligram. In adults you may use 40 milligram. Whenever you are using cycloserine, give 40 to 50 milligram. Don't give a lower dose. Whenever you have HIV, again give 40 to 50 milligram. Next slide. Now how do you treat this peripheral neuropathy? When you have neuropathy, go to pyridoxine of 100 milligram. Don't go less than that, and you give that dose for 4 to 6 weeks and then come down. Give other vitamins, B complex vitamins, especially B12, niacin, give those vitamins. Pain management, you will require, as she said, we had to use pregabalin and gabapentin and morphine. So you may require all these. Usually gabapentin, pregabalin is sufficient. You don't need to go to other drugs. But you may have to give other drugs. So you will have to get your pain management team in place Mostly we call our anesthetist to help us with the pain management in these patients. Next. So how will you discontinue or modify the drug? You can decrease the dose, as I said, in children, INH 10 milligram per kg, you can come down to 7.55, which will still maintain the PK data, that's fine. You could come down on linezolid to 300 milligram if you're using 600 milligram. But that is only in grade 1 and grade 2. The moment you have grade 3, please stop those drugs and replace. And the other drugs that we did in our patient, we gave Monopass, we gave Delaminid instead of linezolid and cycloserine. So you can change to less neurotoxic drugs. And though they mention about pulse therapy, I would not advise this to be done. You either stop the drug, decrease the dose, and change the regimen. Next slide. Next slide. So if you look at the grades, what I told you, grade 0 and grade 1, you continue the same anti-TB treatment, increase the dose of pyridoxine. Grade 2, go up to 100 pyridoxine, not even 50. Grade 3, permanently stop the drug and you switch the drug. Grade 4, don't reach the patient till there. Next slide. Next slide. The other things that you will have to do is, because there is a motor involvement, there will be muscle atrophy that will take place. So you start physiotherapy. There will be foot drop or gait instability. Sometimes you ask them to change their footwear because they can't manage with sandals or anything. They only are able to take soft slippers. So they need very soft. So something, as we said, with a foot pad which is very, very soft. So get that in place. And because they are not able to hold spoons, they are not able to feed themselves. So these fine skills, you will have to also involve the occupational therapist. Next slide. Now prognosis wise, if you are in grade 1 and 2, they will recover. But if it's grade 3 and 4, the recovery is only partial and you won't see the response immediately. It will take 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes even 3 months. If you leave it ignored, like in this patient, there will be persistent weakness or gait abnormalities which will be permanent. So catch them early. Next slide. So these were the references from which I made this presentation. Next slide. And I just want to give the key messages. Main cause of peripheral neuropathy in children with TB is INH, linezolid, ethionamide. Prevention, give a higher dose of pyridoxine. How do you detect? By symptoms and a clinical examination and nerve conduction studies if you want to do that. Treatment wise, reduce the drug or stop the drug and replace the drug. And recovery will take weeks to months. Early detected, better outcome. Thank you very much.